I am joined this time by Jeff Ferro coming to us from California.
Hello.
Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
First question always, how did you learn bridge?
Both sides of my family played. My parents played, my grandparents played, my aunts and uncles played, and I started young, which I think was a blessing because it's so hard to learn. But I kind of started with gin and hearts and spades and pinochle and kind of worked my way up to bridge and backgammon, and that's what we did for fun, pre-internet.
How old were you, do you think, the first time you really played bridge?
Well, I guess my dad, we were living in Manhattan at the time, and we were 2 blocks from the Manhattan Bridge Club, and my dad started playing there. And I think I was 11 or 12, maybe. And I started to tag along with him. And then I sort of started playing with other people there, little old ladies playing in the novice game. And they all thought it was cute that there was a little child there since everyone was older. And there was, of course, some intimidation as well of like, we're going to intimidate this kid.
Yeah. Did you start reading bridge books at that early age?
I think I started reading bridge books maybe a few years later, and I kind of gravitated towards I really liked to see what the experts were doing. So I really liked the world championship books, like the hand record kind of things, just to see system and declare play. And in terms of like, I mean, they're not the sexiest books, but I was sort of fascinated by that. And I really liked The Bridge Bum by Alan Sontag. I was
Classic.
really fortunate to play with him a few times in New York, and I loved sort of all the crazy stories in there, the anecdotes.
It's amazing. Yeah. So you and I met a few years ago. We were on a team together, like in the Vanderbilt or something like that. And I was like, who is this guy?
You're not the only one.
Someone said they were getting us good teammates. And then I looked you up and you were in the Bermuda Bowl,
I
like
was, yeah.
1991.
Yeah, I was in, I think I might have been the first player, probably not, but maybe, that was in 2 world championships in the same year, because that was the year we won the World Junior Championship for the US, which
Yeah,
was our first home win, which was exciting.
that's amazing. And then did you take a bunch of time off of bridge?
I did. When I sort of aged out of the juniors, I had just won the grand national teams, and which was a big national win with a great team. And that was the year they decided to open it up to the trials, because back in the day, it was like the winner of the big four teams were the trials. There were just four teams. So that was a little bit disappointing. And I had started working in advertising as a producer, and I sort of realized I had to pick one or the other because I was playing bridge every weekend and working all week and not really having a social life or time to exercise or time to do other things. And I just decided bridge I could come back to. And at the time, even though I'd won a bunch of stuff, nobody was hiring juniors back then for anything. Even though there were a lot more clients and pros and stuff, I think it was more like, what have you won? It was more sort of resume based, what nationals have you won? So it was an easy choice to go into advertising. And then during COVID, I was fortunate enough to retire and I started playing bridge online. And I realized, oh, I know all these people and I'm still pretty good and I can still be competitive. And it kind of was like, I can do this now on my terms and not feel like an obligation. So it's kind of fun.
How did you feel an obligation?
I just felt when I was younger, playing in the Bermuda Bowl, playing at that level, I just felt like there was a lot of pressure on me and the people were not very pleasant. And I just felt like, I don't know, I felt like I was really good at it, but it wasn't satisfying in a way. So I just decided, let me take a break and see what happens. So I took a long break,
Yeah.
like 25 years or so.
So you were like 22, 23 when you're playing in the Bermuda Bowl? Like you were one of the youngest people to play,
Yeah.
right? At that point?
And as unfortunate as it was with the Grand National teams when we won and they changed it, I was very fortunate to qualify for the Bermuda Bowl because the year that they added a second team from the US, they decided to do a pairs trial. And so it was 22-day regionals around the country. And the 20 winners then went to a pairs trial in Memphis. And then there was like a 2-day round robin and then a 2-day final, and the top 3 pairs qualified. And there were some great pairs in there that didn't make the cut and some great pairs at the regional where we won, but somehow we snuck into third place and it was very exciting.
What did that feel like as a junior? Like you were going to the junior championships and now suddenly you just qualified for the Bermuda Bowl.
Yeah, it was a watershed moment. I was like, okay, it can't get any better than this. Maybe I was too young to really understand in a way because I didn't feel the pressure. because we sort of were like had nothing to lose. And I was playing with Alex Ornstein, and we were kind of like the young up and comers. And, it was something that my family could appreciate and my friends could appreciate. It was like, oh, okay, we understand what a world championship is. But I was dreaming about bridge. Like I was playing so much bridge that I was dreaming about bridge, which was a little crazy.
It's just kind of inconceivable to me to be that young and that good and like having all this success and just stop.
Well, I mean, I dabbled after, I aged out of the juniors, but I just realized like I can't compete with these people that play year round in tournaments, and you can't play at the level that you're now accustomed to. So it was sort of an all or nothing thing for me, I felt, at least at the time. It just wasn't fun to go play for a few days and be rusty and lose and know that you forgot something simple card combination or something, and the frustration. So I just decided, let me just take a break, and that's what I did.
There's been a lot of debate over time about pairs trials versus team trials. What did you think of that pairs trials and the team that got put together and team dynamics and all of that?
There was no chemistry on the team. It was three pairs sort of thrown together. Our non-playing captain was sort of assigned to us, and we were sort of like the unknown pair. So there was some talk of, oh, we need to bench them. We need to not let them play their full quota. And Alex and I were sort of adamant that we play. And we played, and they played us against the weaker teams. We beat up on the weaker teams. And then we didn't do as well against the stronger teams we played. But we did make it to the quarterfinals, and I think we kind of like overcame some of the stigma with the rest of the team that, oh, okay, these guys can play, certain circumstances, they're good. But I feel like maybe teams is better just because it's more chemistry. You can pick your own captain, the captain knows you better.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about coming back into bridge. So you said it was during COVID and there was all this online stuff.
For me, it was just the ability to play online, because when I stopped playing, to go to a tournament, it was like an 8-hour commitment for one day. And you could just go online and play on OK Bridge or BBO for an hour here, an hour there. And like, you're like, oh, I know all these people, and this is how and I can practice and sort of like go back in on my own terms. And we played in a JLOL, I guess, with a good team, and kind of got smoked in that. And that was like, oh, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Maybe I can't compete. But then we played in another one that we won. And then it was sort of like, okay, it's just have to get back into it. I was working remotely because I produced commercials. So I was always traveling. But with COVID, I was working from home, and I was able to kind of dip in online and play. And I was like, oh, I know all these people from the junior days, like all the kids that were after me and the US juniors were all playing. So it was kind of nice to reconnect with everybody. And then, of course, I had to do a deep dive on bridge winners and see what everyone had been up to. And I realized that I had won more nationals than most of the people that didn't take 25 years off. So I thought, okay, well, my resume can kind of stack up against any of these people. And I'm still young by bridge standards. And it's interesting because I feel like when I was really young, I was really fearless and maybe a little reckless. And now I feel like I'm in kind of a sweet spot where I'm still young and I'm still aggressive. And because I stopped when I was 26, I feel like I'm right back there, but with a little gravitas on my side, a little age and a little wisdom. But of course, I would have liked to have done better since I came back, but I've had some good wins and some good results. And I'm not the most patient person. I always say it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but it seems to be trending in the right direction for me. So I'm enjoying it. But it is frustrating because the thing that's gone is the muscle memory. You just get tired at some point. And when I was a junior, I was never tired. I could just go and play at a relatively high level. But I just have these blind spots here and there that are very frustrating. So it's what I'm working on eliminating now.
You think that's stamina or focus?
I think it's both. I think it's just lack of playing for so long. And also when I first came back, I was sort of arrested development. And this was before they changed the times back to the morning times. So you're just like, oh, I'm 26 again, and I can go out to dinner and have a giant steak dinner. And then I can go to the bar and hang out with all the bridge players and go to bed at 4 a.m. and, roll in and play. You realize, oh, I'm not young. I need to go to bed early. I need to eat better. I need to maintain a little bit better.
During the time off from bridge, did you do anything? Did you read? Did you play at all?
I still read the bulletin, and I had the Bridge World, and my regular partner Lenny Holtz, who I've been playing with since the junior days. He was still playing, and I was fortunate enough. I got a call from Alex Ornstein, my partner, to come and play at the Anaheim Nationals on a team with Judy Radin and Barry Regal and Sue Pikus and Sylvia Moss and Alex. And so I said, sure, that sounds fun. So I went, and they're like, you're going to play with Judy Radin and you're going to play all 4 sessions. This was in the mixed border match when it was on the last weekend. And so I'm like, why am I anchoring and why am I playing with Judy Reid? It's a little bit intimidating. But I knew Judy from growing up in New York, obviously, but we'd never played together. And we ended up winning the event. And that was my second national win. And it was sort of like this little blip, like, how did this happen? So that was exciting. And that almost lured me back. But then what I do for a living production wise, you're just traveling, you're on call, it's 24/7. So there really wasn't any time for bridge. But I feel like because I was successful in my advertising career, I was able to retire young. And so now I'm back with bridge. We'll see how it goes. But that was pretty much it. It was pretty much an all or nothing thing for me.
So coming back, how rusty did you feel at the beginning?
Surprisingly, not as rusty as I thought I would be. I felt pretty competitive almost from the get go, but then it was almost that same fear I had of like, you're playing these people that play constantly and it's effortless for them, these pros, and you have to think about every single thing. And then you're going to make a few mistakes here and there. And then you're going to get mad and go down the rabbit hole or go into the quicksand and not recover. So it also got my competitive juices going because you're like, oh, okay, the first JLAL we sat down against Meckstroth and Rodwell in the first, and it's like, okay, here we go, and then you just feel like extra motivated to not embarrass yourself and play well. So that was exciting, and I've known them forever, so it was kind of nice to reconnect with people of that caliber.
Did you feel rust more in bidding, play, defense? Any one of those more than the other?
Probably declare play. Um, I'd have some major blind spots. And then I was going back and looking at, some of my results from the junior days and going like, oh, wow, I mean, the declare play was really, really solid. So that was frustrating. And obviously the bidding, everybody says that, that the bidding has changed so much in the last 25 years. And there's all these complicated things that I don't really have the bandwidth yet to try to retain. But I thought the bidding was good. The defense was good. It was more just these blind spots. I call them walkabouts, where you're just like in the woods, like you just lose your mind on like you're doing great. And then you just make this sort of like novice mistake. And that was for me the hardest thing. And sometimes it would be declare, sometimes it would be defense. I guess probably sometimes bidding as well. But I feel like the trend now is more aggressive, and I was always aggressive. So like it's not an issue for me to be aggressive and sort of compete with all the new stuff. And I play a lot of old stuff, and I feel like the old stuff now is easy to remember, and I feel like it creates a swing now in my favor because nobody's playing it.
Once you establish and identified, declare play, I'm having these lapses.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do to try to address that?
I tried to play more, and it's for me. I'm a feel player. I'm not like a technical player, and so I tried to become a little more technical. And like my Achilles heel, I feel like is overthinking. So I tend to just play really fast. So sometimes I'm not paying attention as much to the carding of the opponents, and I never really hesitate long when dummy comes down. I just sort of like my brain says do X, and I just do it. And when I start to overthink, I do Y, and that's always wrong. Like I feel like my first instinct is generally the right instinct, but I feel like some hands I need to take a moment and think about like the line, count your winners, count your losers. And I've identified the mistakes I make is when I think it doesn't matter. Like I think no matter what I do, it's not going to matter. I'm going to make it or I'm down one. And then it's like there was a potential issue that I should have seen and I didn't see it because I went too fast. So I'm trying to find that sweet spot between first instinct and taking a little more time and watching the carding and thinking about potential bad lies and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the line I'm always straddling as well, because I'm also a field player. When you can tell it's a dig in kind of hand,
Mm-hmm.
right? I can
Mm-hmm.
dig in with the best of them. And the problem is identifying those when it looks like an easy hand
Right.
and you're just like
Exactly.
mindlessly small from dummy and whatever. And
Yes.
then,
Exactly.
oh, that 4-1 split is just going to totally.
Yes.
blow this apart. Yeah. How do you try to identify those hands before it's too late?
Well, there's one very recent example. I played in the online national, and we were playing match points, and we got to the slam that was like 100%. And you think like anytime you're in a slam in that kind of field, it's going to be a good board. And I've never taken a safety play in my life. Like I just don't think about safety plays. But I think I had like ace jack 10 fourth. I could lose to queen fourth behind me. And I thought, oh, it's a computer hand. Maybe I should, safety even if I lose a trump trick. And I played the ace from my hand, catering to that. And it was queen 10 fourth. And my partner, who was Lenny, he was like, yeah, I've never seen you do safety out of slap before. And so, I was just like, oh, this is so easy. Like I should just bang down the ace king and play for 2-2 or stiff queen. And I thought, oh wait, there is a potential.
Do you think Jeff today as a player compares to Jeff in the early 90s when you quit?
I mean, I look back at, I mean, they did the year that we won the World Junior Championships. It was the first year that the U.S. had won, and it was on home soil, which was exciting. And they did actually like a little mini World Championship book. So I hadn't looked at that in 25 years either, but I was going back and looking, and I was like looking at these crazy bids and these crazy, like you bid these crazy things and then you make them and you just figure out a way to make them. And I thought, wow, that was like fearless on a whole other level. You get older and you get, more tentative. And so I feel like I'm in a sweet spot where I'm still super aggressive, but now I'm a little tempered. So I feel like in theory, I'm a better player, but I kind of miss the fearless, maybe a little reckless, full steam ahead kind of attitude I had when I was younger. But I'm still super aggressive.
How has the game changed in that 25 years you were away?
I mean, people were not opening every 12 count. People were not opening 11 counts. People were not doing light initial action. It was much more structured. There were much fewer sort of destructive bids and transfer McCabe and Redwood and minor. I mean, there's just so much stuff now and so much system. But I feel like people are saying to me, like, well, how can you possibly compete at this level when it's changed so much in the last 25 years? And I'm like, it's changed in a way that suits me because I was already super aggressive and I'm still super aggressive. And this is like not an issue for me. I've incorporated some of the newer conventions that I could remember easily and that came up a lot. But in terms of like stuff that's obscure that never comes up, I'm not willing to go there yet. And some people think that's holding me back, but I don't know. I haven't had any problems missing like transfer McCabe or certain things.
What are the newfangled things that you have added?
I really like Spiral. That comes up a lot. I really like Kokish. That comes up a lot. Some modified August comes up a lot. So here and there I pick things, but I like the redwoods and the minor woods, and I'm more old school, like 4-no trump is blackwood. And also we're trying to incorporate 3-no serious, non-serious, which now I'm like, okay, this makes sense once you bid and raised a major, like, okay, this now simple, but baby steps. Like I can remember certain things, but the continuations, maybe not so much.
Yeah. And you don't feel like there's a huge disadvantage by playing not the shiny system that everyone
I
plays.
actually feel like it's an advantage not to play that in a way. Like I have like all these people are playing transfers and it's like there seems to be a lot of confusion and I'm like, I have no problem getting my suit in, whether I transfer it or not transfer. And this all these minor woods, it's like how many like maybe under 5 times in 50 years I've gotten to a slam off 2 aces because I Blackwood past the point of no return. So it doesn't make any sense to me to have all of these things that aren't adding a lot and just could be confusing.
How much bridge do you play these days in person?
In person, I sort of took baby steps towards the nationals. I think when you and I played, it was my first full nationals, and I think it was in Reno, and it was a drive for me because I'm in Napa. But before that, Lenny and I did 3 days in Austin, and then all of Reno. And then I sort of thought, oh, I want to do all the nationals. I'm going to start playing more. I'm going to play the 3 nationals this year. Obviously, San Francisco's coming up, which is very close to me. And I'm I'm playing with some very talented juniors from Denmark, and they have some kind of gap year, which I don't quite understand, but they want to play more in the US, and I kind of want to get over there and play.
Between tournaments, what are you doing these days to stay sharp?
Well, I play online. I play in the Schaefer game. I play in the Pavlicek game. I play in some of the European events. I'm trying to become a morning person and get up early and play in the alt events and what are the other one, the online. And those have really good fields. I feel like the BBO fields have really kind of tapered off. And then I'm also bidding on Q-bids. So I've been doing that. And sometimes I'll do practice matches online with people.
Yeah, the ability to play with and against good people online has just been a game changer, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that was what really got me back into it, the ability and not having to do, like, 4 hours at a time was huge, and the obviously, I didn't have that when I was 25.
How about when you're at a big tournament like the Nationals? What does your routine look like?
Well, it's been, from when I first came back and I was acting like I was young and invincible, I mean and now with the morning times at first, I didn't really like it. Now I kinda like being able to go have a nice dinner and go to bed early, but, I've never been a morning person, so it's like I'll roll out of bed, take a shower, grab a coffee, and go play, and then have a little bite in between, and then or sometimes take a nap, and then go have a nice dinner, but, like, I avoid the steak and I avoid sort of the heavy meals, and then avoid alcohol as much as possible. Don't go to the bar or go to the bar and have like a club soda and be social for a minute and go to bed early. And I would like to maybe exercise and maybe get up and have breakfast every once in a while, but room for improvement for me. But I've come full circle of like, we need to be disciplined. We're older. We have to not drink as much, not eat heavily.
There are some good things about being older and some that are less fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was fun to stay up at the bar, but I don't think I can do it anymore.
No, and I mean, once in a blue moon, maybe, but we try to stay at the host hotel so we can, just roll right out of bed. So, you come back from dinner, you go to the bar, you say hi to whoever, maybe have a Diet Coke, and then go to bed and, watch mindless TV, the Cooking Network or Law and Order.
Do you feel a difference on mornings that you do have breakfast and when you don't?
I don't really ever have breakfast. For me,
Okay.
it's more sometimes there's jet lag if I'm coming to the East Coast and it takes me maybe a day or two to acclimate. So sometimes the first session, I'm like completely out of it and not laser focused. But maybe breakfast might be good, but that means getting up even earlier.
And you mentioned exercise. Do you exercise much in your home life?
Yeah, exercise a lot. I swim, I play tennis, I work out at the gym. Now that I live in the suburbs, it's a lot easier to work out. And I have two dogs, so I walk the dogs a lot. I joined a pickleball group here, which I grew up on tennis and paddle tennis, so it's a big adjustment, but it's surprisingly good workout.
To what extent do you think being in good physical shape helps you at bridge?
I think it's especially now that I'm older, I think it's critical to be in good shape because if you're not in good shape, the stamina goes, the mind goes, the body goes. I mean, I'm already like I just played the whole online national and the last session I just hit a wall. And I feel like I'm in pretty good shape and I'm trying to be disciplined, but I still hit a wall. So I feel like that's a huge element to bridge, which when I was younger, I never thought about.
Yeah, I mean, these 10-day tournaments are really long, right?
And it's very easy to have a walkabout here and there, and maybe not at the most opportune time. And then then you're like, then you get mad at yourself, and then you lose focus even more. So I'm trying to just let it go. When you're in it and you're competing and you have a chance to win, which is so rare, I feel like you have to really avoid that. But then you're like, why can't I do this all the time?
Yeah, that level of focus that's necessary that really sets the top folks apart from the mortals. Where do you think that comes from? How much of it is innate? How much of it is something you can really work on?
I think a lot of it is just muscle memory. And like, I feel like the top players, they just play so much. And it's sort of, there's an element of autopilot on a lot of hands where, the mere mortals have to think, and that gives them a huge advantage. I think, you either have card sense or you don't. So I think it's innately natural to certain people. And that's a big advantage. And being able to read a room and read the table is a big advantage. And I think just, playing over and over and over and you just becomes effortless and you become good at it. Like when I started playing online, I thought, well, I'm a field player. You said you're a field player. And I thought like, oh, this is going to expose me as a complete charlatan because I'm not going to be able to have any. But I almost feel like you sort of get a sense of it even
Yeah.
online, which is kind of crazy. Like I actually really like playing online now, surprisingly. And I played in the trials last year and they, put me in a room with a laptop with one other person. And I really liked that too. Like I loved it.
Amazing.
I thought I was going to hate it, but I really liked it.
It's my favorite bridge event now.
Yeah.
I find it to be surprisingly social because
Hmm.
it's just the 2 of you and, as
Right.
long as they're not like a wet rag,
Right.
you can
Yes.
talk and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. And it's faster. Like you're just like bidding, and it just seems quicker. There's not the screens you have to lift up and down and all the nonsense.
and it takes away so much of the subtle cheating,
Right.
the unintentional cheating even. So I love it. And I like playing online from home,
Hmm.
but I find I don't concentrate as well. And part of that is just habit. Like I've played so much online
Hmm.
mindlessly
Yes.
and
Right.
getting out of that habit. They say that you play like you practice.
Hmm.
And well, I'm trying to work on having my practice be like I'm playing in the Bermuda Bowl and like treat this set against the robots
Right.
like I'm
Right.
playing
As
against
life and
garage.
death.
Yeah. Which is really hard to make yourself think that, right?
Yeah,
It's
but
like I'm
that's a great example of trying to improve an area. That's interesting. Should try that.
can you imagine a different life path if Pro Bridge had been an option to you when you were 23? Do you think you might have taken that path?
Oh, absolutely. It was totally viable, especially because I had just come off, I had a first and a third in the juniors and then played in the Bermuda Bowl quarterfinals, won the Grand National teams with a great team. And, I felt like that was totally viable. But it was like, I don't know. I just thought like I've been playing a lot since I was 12. And I thought like, and I really liked producing. I really liked advertising. It was kind of untraditional and fun, and there were perks there, travel perks, which the bridge obviously traveling to the cool tournaments and but I mean I certainly could have probably been a top player for all this time. But also you also felt like who knows how long bridge is going to be around because it was already an old game when I was a junior and obviously much smaller tournaments now and smaller fields. I don't have any regrets. It would have been fun, I think, to compete at that level and become hopefully one of the top players and just playing constantly, and then you're just in it.
So, when you came back, how quickly did things like counting out hands come back to you? Was that like muscle memory?
It was almost muscle memory. There were some card combinations and certain things but in terms of counting, it was pretty effortless from the beginning. And also, I was lucky that some of my old partners were willing to play with me, and they hadn't taken 25 years off, so I didn't want to embarrass myself. But I just sort of buckled back down. And now it's been a few years. I feel like the results are starting to come a little more consistently. But it's been a process because I don't think of myself as a great technical player.
So, in what ways do you think you've improved in the last 4 or 5 years since you took it back up?
Trusting my instincts. I think the best part of my game is hand evaluation. Like I can kind of tell instantly, like, oh, we have a slam, we have a game, we have a part score. I need to do something crazy, preempt. I feel like I'm in a sweet spot of still being young and fearless, but also having that experience of like picking your spots and knowing when to try to create some action and when not to. And now that I've incorporated some of these conventions that I was sort of resisting, I feel like you can just compete more and it just gives you another arrow in your quiver.
Do you have any mentors that you go to when you have questions or doubts?
Well, one of the big knocks on me and some of my older partners was that we were not playing anything like what the modern people are playing. And I was sort of stubborn about I'm taking this as a badge of honor. And then they're saying, well, but no one's going to play with you unless you step out of, 25-year-old bridge. So Lenny and I were fortunate enough, we're friends with Mitch Dunitz, and he very generously offered to sort of mentor us. So we have sessions with Mitch, and we've known him forever. Lenny lives in LA with him, and I've played in a few tournaments with him, and he's, taught us some of this newer stuff, and he's sort of dragging us into the modern era. And some of it I'm starting to really like and love. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and start like adding everything, because I just feel like I don't want to have to remember. I want to focus on the hand and the big picture, not what did that bid mean? I think we discussed it once 3 years ago and it hasn't come up. And then all the continuations, it's like it's a lot. So, but he's been a mentor. And so that's been nice.
So how do you prioritize, what you add when you add it?
To me, it has to be A, it has to come up a lot, and B, it has to be easy to remember, and C, it has to make sense to me to change something that I'm not convinced is a big thing. So spiral comes up all the time. Kokish I really like because it's just so important to be able to differentiate between the good and the bad two club openings. And sometimes when I have a crappy responder hand, I'm like, oh, we're still in slam range, and then you get to this great slam that nobody's getting to. So that was good. And the whole like August of like a better hand starts with the cheaper bid, so then you have room to, that makes sense to me. So that was a big adjustment. And we're doing sort of a slightly variable no trump, like 14 to 16 non-vulnerable and 15 to 17 vulnerable, and the 14 non-vulnerable really has been very effective. And I'm trying not to upgrade from 15s vulnerable as much.
Do you feel like it holds you back, the system stuff? Like, do you think two random pros playing together who play kind of a modern expert standard system, do you think they have an advantage over you? Or do you think your simplicity actually is an advantage over them?
I'd like to think the simplicity is an advantage over them. I mean, we just won a big match in the Soloway during this week because one of the top pairs forgot transfer McCabe. So we were plus 700. They played in like a 4-1 fit or something, picked up a lot of imps. So I feel like these people have all these things, but they still seem to forget them and have accidents. And I feel like I've been playing with some clients and they're like obsessed with system, and to the point where like they don't know how to defend, declare, but they're like, oh, I play all these things. And it's like, but you shouldn't be playing all that stuff. You should be playing less, and you should be focusing on declare and defense and get the fundamentals down. And it's like, I'm speaking Swahili. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's tough. And as teachers, conventions are so easy to teach relatively.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing for me, like there's all these hands that I call tweeners, where they don't fit into any convention. So it's like you can have all these conventions, but there's still going to be hands that fall in between. So what do you do? And I feel like I'm very good at like, okay, I have this tweener hand. There's 3 options. What's the lesser of all evils? And okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it just comes down to judgment eventually. So what do you think you need to do to level up your game to be competitive in the Bermuda Bowl again? Or do you think you're already there?
Well, I mean, you live and die by your partner and your teammates. So I think I need to be playing with people that I believe we have a chance. And I feel like there's a certain level of intimidation when you sit down against certain people. And if you're intimidated, it's over before it starts. And I think, like I've had a big upset here, big upset here. I haven't gotten deep into anything. So, but even just in this online national, we got to the finals of the solo. We were playing a very good team, and like my adrenaline was off the charts. And I thought, this is what it's about. This is what I love, is competing at this level for a title. And I just haven't been in enough situations. So I just need to play more and level up my experience and compete at that level. It was like a drug. It was amazing. It was like, this is so fun. We lost, but it was very close.
You feel like you play better or worse with all that adrenaline flowing
I
through
play
you?
better. I'm like laser focused. Like, and you're on cameras, maybe sort of trash talking a little bit. Every advantage you can get.
Do you think there's a way to get that adrenaline, when you're not in the finals?
Well, that's the $1 million question. How do you maintain that level? And I think it's been a learning process, obviously, coming back, thinking like, oh, I'm 25 again. And oh, wait, I'm not. I have to go to bed early. I can't go out to eat. And I have to think and I have to be disciplined and just sort of setting yourself up for success and the results will come. It's been very frustrating in a way because I don't have a lot of patience and I've had some amazing results. And I just feel like, my phone isn't ringing, but I'm really happy with my current situation with my European teammates. I'm starting to play with some amazing women that I've known forever that are amazing players as well. So I feel like, doors are opening and I'll be there before I know it. And then I'll be like, that wasn't so bad. You're back.
So do you not feel like you're quite back yet, or just in the eyes of other people?
I feel like I'm back. I feel like in the eyes of other people, I'm not back. It's like what you won was 25 years ago. But going to the trials, like I went just to get the experience. So maybe that's another thing I should do more is just go, whether I'm on a great team or decent team, whatever, like just go and get the experience of playing those matches.
I agree. Just you have to go play the trial. It's what separates bridge from everything else. You can just go play against the best.
Yeah. And I'd like to play in Europe more. I mean, I'm playing with a lot of Europeans, but I haven't been over. I mean, I played in Colombia, I played in Panama. I haven't played internationally, and I feel like that would be really fun. And I think there's certain tournaments that there's more bridge, like top level. I feel like every good team has a sponsor, for better or worse. I'd love to have a great team that doesn't have a sponsor that can kind of compete, but it's been tough. So at some point, like if that's what it takes to be on a good team, then I guess that's what I want to do. But we'll see what happens.
It's tough. Most really good players are playing pro these days,
Hmm.
and it's hard to compete with the paycheck.
Yes.
Yeah, Greg and I find ourselves in that position as well.
Yeah, but certainly there's enough pairs that could compete without a pro, and you have a certain advantage of just having like six great players or three good pairs.
Yeah.
Like I look at the Australians and they just had a big win and they're young and they seem aggressive and that seems like a fun team.
Yeah. It's always been kind of shocking to me that 5 very good pros with a really weak sponsor
Hmm.
still tend to beat like 6 very good players,
Hmm.
3 good pairs. That edge, between that tier and the tier below it is
Hmm.
significant enough
Yes.
that they can cover for the weak sponsor.
Hmm. Yeah. Still, that seems like it should be the other way around, but
It really does. How much of that do you think is just they're that much better players? How much do you think it's partnership?
I think they're maybe a little better, they're maybe a little more seasoned, and I think they're a little intimidating. And I think when it's on the line, you need ice in your blood. And I feel like these top pros, because they've won so much and they just know what to do. And whereas if you're the upstart, you're trying for the upset, and you might just sort of like blink on the last board or something, and then that's it. And that's a huge advantage. You need to like. I feel like I still have ice in my blood from the old days. Like I feel like I haven't won that much, but when I'm in a position to win, I can seal the deal. And I think I don't know what it comes from, but it's a huge advantage to be able to feel that way or know that you have that.
All right, well, we'll seal the deal right there. That's a great place again. So thank you so much, Jeff, and we're glad to have you back in the bridge world.
Thank you.
And I'll see you soon.